Welcome back. I'll continue my videos on agile and digital architectures. In this particular video, I'm going to talk about agile leadership in a little more focus. My point of view is that the traditional leadership is quite frankly dying in a world defined by the crushing challenges of VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So just having the right answers or telling people what to do in a command and control way is no longer enough. It just doesn't work. We need a complete new style. Agile leadership. It's about making a crucial shift, moving away from being a single omniscient source of knowledge to being a coach and a facilitator who unlocks the team's potential. So in this video, I'll break down the modern leadership agile model, the core competencies you need to master, and the critical mistakes, the dysfunctions that will sink your teams before you even start. Let's dive in. Let's talk about the coaching style. The first pillar of any agile leadership methodology is delivering intent, not instruction. Your job isn't to draw the map, it's to define the destination. You set the desired purpose and the result, and then you trust your talented team to figure out the path. This process has three steps. First is align on the intent. Before any meeting or task, eliminate all hidden agendas. Everyone needs to know why we are taking and what success looks like. Second, enable thinking. This is where the coaching happens. Resist the urge to start with your ideas. Instead, listen actively. Inquire about their perspectives, their feelings, and their thoughts first. You only share your insights, your experience, and your opinion after they have fully explored the problem. This builds confidence and ownership in the team. Third, empower action. Be clear about the decision they need to make. Help them define an achievable goal and clear next steps. Crucially, check that they have the resources they need and then step back. You must empower them to own the solution. Finally, let's take the appreciation paradigm. Did you know that 65% of employees are not actively engaged? That statistic is staggering. A simple leadership habit like being grateful, offering genuine acknowledgement, thanks, and recognition can solve massive engagement problems. So, with that, let's look at some of the um, key dysfunctions of a team. It's very important to be aware of them, and it's based on a book by the same name by a author called as Patrick Lencioni. He's developed this model. Patrick talks about this powerful foundational model called as the five dysfunctions of a team. Now, these dysfunctions build on top of each other, okay, forming a pyramid of failure. Okay, so at the base, the foundation of failure is the absence of trust. So team members are unwilling to be vulnerable. Okay, if they can't admit mistakes or share weaknesses, the pyramid crumbles. So trust in by being vulnerable is the key. The next is fear of conflict, which is basically related to the absence of trust. Because they don't trust each other, they don't learn to be vulnerable. Teams avoid being productively but to have these productive conflicts, healthy debates, which leads to good ideas and resolutions. When above fear of conflict, therefore, due to absence of trust and fear of conflict, you come to a lack of commitment. When people don't fight to be heard, they rarely genuinely commit to decisions. They simply comply, which leads directly to um, failure, right? And then finally, the avoidance of accountability as a result. Not finally, but the next one is avoidance of accountability on top of the lack of commitment. Team members hesitate to hold one another accountable because they weren't truly brought into the decisions in the first place. Well, and finally, on the peak, you have the inattention to results. Team members end up putting their individual needs, their careers, their comfort above the collective objectives of the team. So, as an agile leader, your core duty is to help the team confront and resolve these five dysfunctions to achieve actual results. So, in summary, the five dysfunctions are: on the base, we have absence of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability, and finally, which leads to inattention to results. Now, moving on, based on all of these, I think the best practices say that typically an agile role leader has sort of four roles. Okay, and this is not by no means a comprehensive listing of all the skills, but what are the critical four roles which we will, which most of the thought leadership agree on. The first role is they see the agile leader as a co-creator of goals, co-creator along with your customer and teams, not an individual contribution, but a co-creator. So, as a co-creator, the agile leader works with the team to ensure they have a shared vision and direction. Okay, so you must help the team define the value indicators, the key value indicators, whether it is cost to serve or customer satisfaction or NPS, which is tied to the customer. That single or collection of metrics that provide you your value that proves you are providing true value to the customer. For example, if you have built a new mobile application, personal finance management mobile application in a banking context, and do you want to measure what is the key metric? Perhaps the active digital engagement rate as a metric would show if your users are actually using the features you built. This could be one example of a key value indicator. The other thing that you need to be considering as a co-creator is building that impact ladder as a tool. Why it's important? Because you need to not only define your goals and visions, but also understand and articulate how these goals and vision end of the day at impact the customer, right? Whether it is a short term impact, medium term impact, long term impact, okay, financial benefit or performance improvement. So you need to define those impacts and your goals, visions, and indicators, along with the impact, define the overall strategy for the program, for the agile program. And as a agile leader, you need to co-create this with your customers and your delivery team. The second role is facilitation of ownership, being a facilitator, and this is more to do with the delivery team, with you as the agile leader. So the job of an agile leader is to while he's working with these high performance teams, is to create a safe environment, where teams can test, fail, and learn. Because in the VUCA world, there is so much volatility, uncertainty, and ambiguity in the environment. So your solutions and you need to constantly adapt. Therefore, teams need to be encouraged to taste and fail and learn, right? And therefore, you as a agile leader must create that psychological safety that it's for your team, that it's okay to fail, that not to be disappointed and get fear come across and hamper them. So the agile leader's role is to facilitate that. And also, the second thing is we are working with high performance team, very highly skilled teams. So the agile leader should not come from a command and control mindset purely, right? He or she needs to find a balance between what actions and duties the team needs to be responsible, accountable for. Where there is absolutely where you want structure, okay, and so that's the ownership domain focus, and where the teams have flexibility, some freedom to work within their own preference styles, right? So the management and facilitation of this ownership versus freedom, the structure versus responsibility, is where an agile leader has to balance. And that's what I mean by agile leader has to be a facilitator. So clearly define or continuously and continuously refine that what at the beginning of the program, what is the ownership model, what are the key responsibilities and accountabilities of the team, where they have to follow some established practices and the direction, and where are areas where you have the team decide how to manage that within their own freedom. So that's role as a facilitator. The next is, in continuation of that, is a being an experimenter. This is about maximizing your this is about maximizing your speed of learning. You need to measure the time it takes your product to be built versus the time it takes for it to be used by the customer, because that's where the actual feedback and loop comes from. And therefore, the speed of learning as a metric is very important. The team needs to be seen that they're not making solutions which cannot adapt and cannot learn. So your goal as a agile leader is to reduce that gap to ensure you are quickly visualizing your learning for the next role is the culture leader. You must drive cultural change and actively design new habits. You must use tools like maybe build a habit metrics to support and cement the big complex changes that are happening within your environment. Okay. Finally, so let me summarize. So, to be an agile leader, you must stop being the boss who gives orders and starts with the being the coach and who sets the vision. Right? You must shift your mindset from instruction to intent. Then you focus your energy on coaching and empowering your team, and relentlessly watching out for those five dysfunctions that caused him to fail. By embracing this framework, you will move your organization from merely surviving the volatility of the modern world to truly being innovative, adaptive, and winning. Right. So I want to hear from you. Which of these four roles, co-creator, facilitator, experimenter, or culture leader, do you need to focus on most right now? Let me know your comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe for future videos.